RCEP Economic Super-Bloc by Azlan Adnan M.A. The Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, stands as the largest free trade agreement in history, both in terms of economic output and population covered. Comprising 15 nations, 10 ASEAN member states along with China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand, RCEP came into force on 1st of January 2022, heralding a new phase of economic integration across the Asia-Pacific. In a global landscape fragmented by trade wars and protectionism, RCEP presents a compelling case for multilateral cooperation led by the global East and South. Genesis and strategic context. RCEP was conceived in 2012 as a response to the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, which at the time excluded China. It was driven by ASEAN's centrality in regional diplomacy, aiming to streamline existing ASEAN+1 free trade agreements into a single, cohesive framework. After nearly a decade of negotiations, its signing in November 2020 signaled a momentous shift. Asia would take the lead in defining the future of global trade. India withdrew from the negotiations in 2019, citing concerns over trade imbalances, especially with China. However, the door remains open for India to join in the future, and its eventual participation would substantially increase the pact's economic and geopolitical weight. Economic significance. RCEP covers nearly 30% of global GDP and a similar proportion of the world's population. It consolidates trade rules, reduces tariffs, and provides a unified framework for e-commerce, intellectual property, and investment. Unlike the TPP and its successor CPTPP, RCEP does not impose stringent labor or environmental standards, which some critics argue dilutes its effectiveness as a force for social change. Nevertheless, it simplifies supply chains and enhances market access, particularly for developing ASEAN economies. Countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, and the Philippines stand to gain significantly from increased foreign investment and deeper regional integration. Geopolitical dimensions. RCEP is often viewed as a China-led alternative to Western trade initiatives, especially after the U.S. withdrawal from the TPP under President Trump. While China gains considerable soft power through its participation, ASEAN remains in the driver's seat, maintaining the bloc's commitment to neutrality and multilateralism. Japan and South Korea also benefit geopolitically, as the agreement marks their first-ever trade pact with China. RCEP reduces the risk of decoupling in East Asia by fostering interdependence, particularly in high-tech and manufacturing sectors. Challenges and criticisms. Despite its size, RCEP has limitations. Many of its provisions are less ambitious than those in the CPTPP. Critics argue that it lacks robust enforcement mechanisms and does little to tackle non-tariff barriers. Fun. Moreover, the absence of India limits its diversity and reduces its potential as a truly pan-Asian framework. Additionally, RCEP's long phase-in periods for tariff reductions mean that its full economic impact will unfold over decades rather than years. Nonetheless, it provides a durable institutional architecture for economic diplomacy in the Indo-Pacific. Looking ahead, RCEP represents a pragmatic approach to trade liberalization, emphasizing inclusivity and gradualism. It complements rather than competes with existing agreements, and it offers a platform for future integration, perhaps even a stepping stone toward an Asia-wide economic community. Its success will depend not only on economic performance, but also on its ability to manage tensions among member states, particularly between China and its neighbors. In an era of growing geopolitical rivalry, RCEP underscores the enduring appeal of economic multilateralism. Its long-term significance may not lie in immediate gains, but in anchoring Asia's economic architecture for decades to come. References. 1. ASEAN Secretariat, 2022. RCEP agreement comes into force. ASEAN.org/ASEAN.org 2. Petrie, PA, and Plummer, MG, 2020. RCEP, a new trade agreement that will shape global economics and politics, Brookings Institution. 3. Chaudhary, SR, 2019. Why India pulled out of RCEP, CNBC. 4. World Bank, 2022. World Development Indicators. 5. Elms, DK, 2021. RCEP not perfect but worth having. Asian Trade Center. 6. OECD, 2022. Economic Outlook for Southeast Asia, China, and India 2022. 7. BDA 2021, China's Triumph in the RCEP. Financial Times. 8. Kimura F. 2021, RCEP and Supply Chain Connectivity in East Asia, Area Discussion Papers. 9. Suriak D. 2021, Assessing the Real Economic Impact of RCEP, Center for International Governance Innovation, CIGE. A heartfelt light. To every soul whose hand did give, you've helped me dream, helped me live. In darkest hours your light came through, with hearts so kind, so pure, so true. Your gifts, like stars in deepest night, have steered me gently toward the light. Each coin, each word, each silent prayer, a thread of hope so rich, so rare. My eyes once dimmed now seek the skies, and slowly, clearer visions rise. Because of you, I dare to see the world again. Its grace, its plea. Your compassion's flame will not just stay with me alone. It lights the way for others wandering through despair to feel the warmth of selfless care. You've shown what love in action means, in quiet ways through giving scenes. You've built a bridge from soul to soul and made the broken feel more whole. So let this thanks rise like a song, a melody both soft and strong. May your example gently call more hearts to rise to give. To fall into the joy of lifting pain, of planting hope where none remains. Your kindness walks beside me still, a light, a love, a living will.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to show your support.